All right, here we go.
The Northman. I don't know why I said it like that, but it just felt right, so go with it. Now, The Northman starring Alexander Skarsgård, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicole Kidman, and Ethan Hawke. And it's just I was excited when I went to see this movie because it's a revenge movie. I love revenge movies, and it's a Viking movie. So I know it's gonna be bloody, it's gonna be some cool action, and we're just gonna see some shit being torn apart, which I just love in those action movies. And I would say the story is, as it goes. You see in this trailer, Alexander Skarsgård's body, Almut is in the movie. You see him as a young boy, learning about the traditions and the beliefs of a Viking, how to become a true Viking, basically, as presented by his dad, Ethan Hawke, where they go with these crazy rituals that they go through, and then you see he's been betrayed by his brother, where he then later runs off, and then years later, kind of lost his way, and then finds his way back again to get his revenge, where he keeps saying, "I will avenge your father, I will save your mother, I will kill your filmer." What I love about this movie is the accuracy and the realism that they put in these movies. Like I said in many interviews, the director, they were really focused on making it as real as possible when it comes to the ships, the way people fought, also all the beliefs that people have and the stuff that they would do. Because there's some sequences where I said people do is like, y'all crazy. They do some weird rituals, with blood and fire and howling and screaming. But actually things like, yeah, people back then did some crazy stuff in their beliefs and religion in the stuff that they believed in. So it makes sense for them to act that way and perform the rituals and religions that they do. And I'm gonna say it's done in a very entertaining way. Also the battle sequences, what I really loved about it, they are not Hollywoodized. They're not movie-fied, if you know what I mean. Like, they're not like, him running over a wall, slow motion, this, decapitating 5 dudes at once. The action is more realistic. What I loved in this movie is like you have this great long shot of the camera without a cut, just moving sideways, and you see the character moving between huts and everything and just killing and stabbing. The way, the whole action's being done is done very great. I also love, like, after you think like, oh my god, he saved his villages, no, they're actually raiding a village. What we actually never see a lot in middle-aged movies, like, specifically like the way they show it. This movie is very brutal. Like, it doesn't hold back when it comes to nudity or brutality or cutting somebody up. Like, this movie is very graphic. And it's also a really aspect I like because it sells more the realism, of those times. Like, it doesn't hide, it doesn't go anywhere. Like I said, that character finds his way back, like, because he kind of lost his way along of, fulfilling this revenge, and then he kind of finds his way back as a slave. He finds out, oh, the guy I want to kill, he's looking for slaves. So he sells himself as a slave in order to, be close and learn about his enemies. And I must say, and I really think that's one of my favorite aspects of the movie, is the way we get to see act out his revenge. And where people think it's some kind of evil spirit was really, I think, like a really strong suit in the movie, and it was a very entertaining aspect of the movie, and it was really greatly done. Like, Alexander Skarsgård does really a great job as the character. He's really believable, and also I love the times, the whole setup, the characters in it. It was really done in a great way. As far as down points and negative points, I would say, of the movie is the relationship that he has with Anya Taylor-Joy is kind of just like happens all of the sudden. Like, there's no I feel like they could have done that a little bit better, because I'm kind of like in the rift between in this movie, like, okay, is this the way how really people used to hook up back then, where it kind of just what happened, just like blandly, vaguely, or are we just used to do this, romanticized Hollywood thing? What I do think they could have made it a little bit better. The relationship between the characters is not as believable at the beginning, and then later on it becomes a little bit more believable in this movie. also I feel like there are fantastical elements in the movie, what, as the director said, is supposed to show, you know, how characters and people back then would see, you know, like you have this sequence of this thing riding a horse into the sky, weird stuff happening, or he's talking to this voodoo lady and everything. And I feel like, and it's very fantastical and it looks cool, but I feel like every time that happened kind of took me out of the movie, because the movie is so grounded in realism, and then all of a sudden have like something really fantastical happen, takes me out of the movie, even though the director mentioned like that's what really was that way, you really accomplished your point. But at the same time, it took me every time out of the movie, except for one time where we really get to see Amlet take a sword, and you get to see his mental struggle, mental fight that he has on taking that responsibility. What I think was set up very greatly. And I think it would have been more like that, all the fantastical elements would have fit better in, because it kind of just like happened, or just like kind of like I said, they take me out of the movie, they don't fit as well. This movie keeps stuff very real, but then at the end it kind of like, yeah, no, it kind of like throws away the realism. The main character, the stuff in the movie where I feel like, okay, like if you were a real person, you would not be able to survive that, and if you're a real person, you would be no way able to fight where you fight. Like there's a third act where they fight in this volcano, and I feel like, okay, but where exactly they fight in the volcano, I feel like kind of like that's not possible. And as far as that's, I feel like the negative points of the movie, like the move, I feel like every time the movie adds this fantastical elements or have characters do that are unrealistically, it kind of takes out of the movie, you know, even though that's the way people thought they looked like, or those are the things that the people thought, you know, they would do or see. It kind of like, I don't know, that's the format they wanted to show it, but I feel like it takes you out of the movie, because this movie is so much better when it keeps stuff realistic, grimy, gritty, everything. Then the movie's great, like I said. And there's also, when it comes to Nicole Kidman in the movie, she has a interesting story arc, I must say. It was one I did not surprise also with other characters, and it was an entertaining one. It was a little bit different one. I was like, oh, I did not expect that. It was an entertaining movie. Overall, The Northman is really man's movie, you know what I mean? It's just like a movie you go, yeah. There are some great action sequences, I feel like, but like I said, the fantastical elements, except for this one time, are really the ones that take me out of the movie, and kind of like, then the movie also like, after the second act, the movie kind of like becomes more fantastical and stops being this more realistic, gritty Viking movie, which I preferred. Actually, that's the stronger point of the movie. I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. The Northman, let me know what you think about this movie. I enjoyed the movie, it was okay, even though for my brother and his friends it was a goddamn comedy, because he could not stop laughing all the goddamn time. I mean, I couldn't help it, because there's some silly moments that happen in this movie of people doing rituals where like I couldn't help but laugh. It's like, I'm sorry, it's just hilarious the way they execute it. It's just done hilariously. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching. As always, see you next time.